This bigger one's not working. Got my fingers in there. Go! All right, good evening everybody. Hey, it's Sean back at it again today. I mentioned in my last video I made some purchases. Just one of them showed up yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get these installed this weekend. And you may be wondering, I kept hinting about a trip. My friend Craig and I, and potentially Ron, if we can make it, if I can talk Ron into it. Ron's got some work stuff going on, so he may not be able to make it, but we are going to do the Mid-Atlantic BDR, the Mid-Atlantic Backcountry Discovery Route in November. Yeah, it's probably going to be a little cold, but the days are going to be shorter, so I was contemplating what would be the most useful thing for the bike, and I decided to add some running lights and some spotlights. So I went with these Cyclops AURORA lights. Ordered a switch with them where I can run them in low beam, run them in just daytime running lights, run them in high beam. Super excited to get these on the bike and try them out. Heard nothing but good things. Called the folks a couple times during the process of ordering these, and they were a wealth of knowledge, super helpful. So let's take a look at them, and then I'll start to take this beast apart here, which I'm not really looking forward to because I hear getting inside this headlight is not fun. Good thing there's YouTube videos. All right, so this kit showed up yesterday. I haven't really poked around with too much in it. I did take a look inside, just to make sure everything was there. But gonna go ahead and lay everything out, get my tools ready to go, and then I'm gonna start doing getting into that headlight, which is gonna be fun. But anyway, not much on unboxings, but here we go. So, sticker, it's always good. This is my invoice. Essentially, basically just saying that I got the AURORA headlight kit with the daytime running lights and the P-mounts, which you'll see the P-mounts are bringing into a little bit closer and bringing under that little bar underneath the headlight as opposed to having that headlight bracket. And then I also got a dimmer switch with a on-off switch, which will allow me to run it with low beam as well as high beam or just daytime running lights. So super excited about that. Let's dig into this. All right, P-mounts. These are the mounts I'm talking about. They look like they're almost 3D printed. Kind of neat. Something different. I think everybody I've seen on the internet, haven't seen anybody using these yet, so I was going to figure I'd give them a try, keep them in a little bit closer to the bike. Another sticker with instructions, a wiring harness with a switch. There's a switch. I don't think that's backlit, but that should be pretty easy to get in next to my heated grips switch. And then let's see, we got a Y harness here. I'm going to be following the directions that came with, or that came with it, but obviously they came with it, but also Upshift did a video that's kind of going to be my guide for this thing. Little Allen key, and then of course the headlights themselves. Get those out. These are cool, man. They're tiny, and I love this amber daytime running light. That's really why I was interested in these. Give me a little bit of visibility during the day, and then of course at night. I am sure that we are going to use these on the backcountry discovery routes because the days are going to be pretty short in November, and we're going to need to take advantage of as much time as we can riding. So rather have them than not have them, plus they look cool. So that is that. Put those away. I think that's it for the box. Yep, that's it. So essentially, all that is what I need to get started. So I'm gonna stop this and go get set up to get all my tools out and get set up to take it into this headlight.
All right, there are some tools that you're gonna need. You're gonna need some wire cutters, some needle nose pliers, a box cutter or a knife, some zip ties, a flat edge screwdriver, a long one, or a plastic auto panel tool if you got one, blue Loctite, but only for the parts that connect directly to the frame, a T25 and a T27 Torx, a ratchet, and then some wobblers and extensions if you got those as well. All right, so I forgot to turn on my wireless microphone here, but the first couple steps here are just removing the windscreen, which is just one screw, and then removing each winglet on the left and right side of the bike, which is only 2 screws apiece. So those first 2 steps are pretty straightforward. Okay, so the next step is to remove these upper winglets. You remove the 2 screws at the top. Really, actually, it's only 1 screw at the top on each side. And then the winglets just kind of lift up and out. They're kind of friction fitted in there. They have 1 bolt holding them in place to retain them. This part's pretty easy. Just be careful not to pry too hard on the plastic, but they come out really easy. So as you can see here, they just lift straight up and out. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy.
All right, so next step according to Upshift is to go ahead and take this rear fender off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I have a feeling this might not be too easy to get back on. Just call it a feeling. Is to take off the GPS mount, which is zip tied to my TFT mount. So I'm gonna take that off, set it aside, and then take the TFT mounts off, which are 2 bolts here, and for the GPS mount, 2 bolts here. Okay. Hopefully this GPS, whoop, there goes one. That's gonna happen. GPS wire won't interfere too badly with me taking this off. Doesn't look like it is. I can get in there. All right, so I missed one. There's a T25 on the right-hand side of the bike underneath the TFT screen right there. Gotta get that guy. Okay, got it. That's the bottom side bolt for the TFT. It's a 25 and it looks different from all the rest. All the rest have been 27 and about the same length. So far so good. It's not too terrible. The part that worries me now is getting into this part and pulling this plastics apart. But again, looking at it, it shouldn't be too bad. So far the fit and finish on the KTM is really nice. Yeah, it's plastics, but they're well-designed plastics that mate together pretty well. I've struggled with some plastic parts in the past, and you know, the KLR was a nightmare with bolts because they were always cross-threading and things like that. But so far on this, I love the torques, and I love the fact that the fit and finish is so nice it comes apart easily. So next part for me is to take off my screen protector here, or headlight protector, and get that off. Okay, so next step, there's 2 bolts under here that I gotta take out. At the front of the pod. Now this is where your mounting bracket would go if you had the normal mounting bracket from Cyclops. But I have the P-mounts, so I'm not gonna apply, but you also need to just get these out just to get the thing apart. All right, those bolts are out. Next step is to get this main, I don't know what you even call this thing, but this big piece of plastic in the front here, you can see everything's loose here. According to the video, it's all friction fitted, so I just gotta get a screwdriver down in here and pop it off. Okay, so in the Upshift video, they call for put a screwdriver down in here. I actually have auto body panel repair kits. You can see, guess where I got it. Harbor Freight, cheap. I tell you, these things are worth their weight in gold. Any kind of electronics or working around plastics, these things are awesome to have on hand. So let's give this a shot. This is kind of the part I worry most about is breaking some plastic. Always kind of concerns me. Seems like we got something going on here. This bigger one's not working. Got my fingers in there. Go! All right, it's off, not broken, good. Okay. Following the Upshift video, so far everything's going smooth and as advertised. So what I'm doing now is taking these 5 bolts out that of the headlight mount itself. Okay, so one thing I am doing, and they suggest this on the upshift video. I always suggest this. I did this with my KLR valve check, but I get a piece of cardboard, stick the bolts in, write down what where they went, you know, so you can remember when you go back to put everything back together that you get the right bolts in the right place. As you can tell, these two are different. This one's got a mounted washer on it, or it's all one piece, and then this one's a little shorter as well. So what's one thing I'm doing to keep track of everything? All right, last bolt on the outside here, and it's up here. So I got the bolts all down the side on both sides, and now this last one, if I can see, there we go, right here, and that is holding the two halves of the headlight pod together. This is the moment of truth, and I'm gonna get in here and get the headlight out. So all we gotta do now is spread this thing open and pull the headlight pod out, is what they're saying. So let's see if I can do that without dropping it, because this is like a gajillion dollars. There's a little clip inside here. Don't want to break that either. As you can tell, I'm a little worried about dropping things because I've dropped everything so far today. There it goes. All right, headlight out. Expensive piece of kit right there, boys. Expensive. So now the fun part begins. This might be a good time to take a break. Go get a Diet Coke. Gonna clean this up a little bit. All right, so I got the mounts on. I got the lights barely mounted to the brackets here just to hold them in place while I run the wires. I'll do the same on the other side and then run the wires like the video instructs. Okay, so when you see it, when you see these pins, it's gonna look like that. It's gonna have that flat head. You're gonna need something to push that centerpiece down to pop the pin. It's pretty common on auto fasteners. It took me a few minutes to remember how to do it, but I use these little hooks that I bought in a set. They come when, this isn't the one I use, but there's a straight one, there's curved ones, different angles, help you grab and push on these little pins, so that'll help. Anyway, just something to consider. Okay, so in here, right in here, right there is where the push pins were, the automotive push pins, and then this bolt back here, right there, is the one that they talk about in the upshift video. So you take that one out and loosen the top on the other side. Well, actually on both sides, to get the wires back in behind this little bracket here. So, but anyway, this whole piece comes down too once these bolts are out. Once those bolts are out, this little door will come open and you can get access, better access into the headlight pod. Okay, so here's the trap door right here, hanging down, and then here's the bolts that I removed, the bolt I removed. So the wires are going to go back through here, underneath of here, hang down here, and go up into here. I usually don't make how-to videos, but there's a couple steps missing here. I'm a little slow, so I need the help, so maybe somebody else does too. I don't know, but the wire is going to go around through here and up into there. Okay, I have got everything wired up. I have some lights just kind of loosely in place right now. I'm going to test them real quick, but everything is lined up. Wiring wise, it's all tucked away, put back, and we'll see what happens. If this works, it will not be nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, because everything kind of just fits in there. So hopefully, all right, fingers crossed. All right, moment of truth. Moment of truth here. Turn the key. All right, there's power, that's good. Oh, look at that. Oh, I've got daytime running lights and low beams as we see it right now. There we go. Now it takes off the low beam. Awesome, okay. All right. So DRLs, low beams. Now let's just check the high beams. Yep, they go on high. Boy, whew, look out. All right, so I started buttoning things up. You don't exactly want to go in reverse order. In other words, if you went and took this board of bolts, I guess, and go from the bottom back up, you'll get there, but I mean, you probably want to skip the part that at the top that binds the GPS. So what I did is I bypassed this bolt here, and put the ones in on the side first, because those actually hold the headlight in place. So these guys over here and here, those hold the headlight in place. So they're actually the ones that keep everything together, make that headlight solid. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish buttoning things up, and then the next thing will be the actual nighttime test whenever that gets. It's only about 3:40 right now, so, but been fun so far. All right, so the installation is done. I think the lights look really cool in their spot. There is one thing I did want to show, and it has to do with the P-mounts and how these things are mounted. I had these originally flipped around the wrong way, and it was affecting how I was able to adjust them. So I got them dialed in now. I put the bike facing the garage and lined them up real good and got them lined up, but you can see how they're vertical in this position. This is the correct position. Flat side should be out away from the bike, and the P-mount should be facing vertical. It also gives you a better access to the 4 Allen head screws that hold the bracket in place. I had it flipped around the other way, and I wasn't able to adjust it quite as nicely. So they are done. Next step, obviously, if this is a video about spotlights on a bike, you want to see them at night. So the next step is for me to go out and take it for a ride and show you what they look like at night. So I'm happy with them, but I want to show you guys kind of what they look like. So we'll go down here to this boat launch down the street and check them out. So hopefully this is showing up a little bit better than before. What you're looking at right now is just, excuse me, is just the standard headlight beam. You can kind of see the amber running light. I'll go ahead and flip on the low beams. It'll flash right now, letting me know that the controller's got it, everything's all right. But hopefully the camera picks it up, but it really fills in the side of the road, so things, and throws a lot of light downstream here, so I can see things that are on the side of the road way up in front of me, which is good. So let me go ahead and fire up the high beam, and that is super bright. Hopefully you can see that. A lot of bugs out tonight. I'm getting them in the face here. But we'll go down to this boat launch here. I'll turn everything off here. All right, so that's standard headlight here on the 790. Get down here to this boat ramp, and I'll show you up against the tree line here kind of the lights and how they look in their different modes. Okay, it's a little bright here. Hopefully you can see this. What you're looking at right now is just a standard low beam headlight, no Cyclops lights on, flipping lights on. Here is the low beam setting, so you can see it kind of went wider and a little brighter. That is low beam, and this is with me sitting on the bike. And then there's the high beam, which is super bright, super bright. So digging that. Plenty of light, especially out of such a small light pod. It's pretty incredible, honestly, how much light it can put out. Now hopefully the GoPro will do it justice. I tried to change some of the settings, so it was a little bit better in low light. The previous video I shot, it was just completely black. You couldn't see anything. So hopefully these settings are a little bit better. Let's head back. I got the low beams on still. Now I adjusted these things to be in line with the straight and level, in line with the headlight, so they're not blinding any motorists, but plenty bright. I'll go ahead and turn them off again. That's just the standard headlight. That's the low beam. After the flash, you'll see it flash, and then that's the standard low beam. The dimmer and is kicking in the controller. And then let me get past this bright street light here. I'll fire up the high beams again. Alright, high beams coming. There's your high beams. So hopefully that's better. You can see that better. But anyway, I'm not coming back out to do it again, so that's going to be it for me, boys. If you like this video, please consider subscribing if you're not already. Hit the ding bell so you get notified when I put up new videos. And if you made it with me this far, I appreciate you watching. As always, I get a kick out of making these videos, and hopefully I'll be doing them a little bit better in the future here. I got some big rides planned, so that's it for me. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.
And that's all I have to say about that.